Hey guys, what's going on? The ranker's back. Often imitated but never really duplicated. And today we're going to be ranking Mandela effects. The Mandela effect is a phenomenon in which a lot of people believe in something that isn't true. It's basically just a false memory a ton of people had. Some instances seem to prove the existence of alternate realities, while others are complete nonsense. Intrigue was at an all-time high when I discovered it in 2016, but does it still hold up? Let's see. As you can see, this is a format we're going to be working with today. The top tier 100% proving the existence of alternate realities, while the bottom tier does not. Should be fun. Who better to start off the Mandela effects tier list than Nelson Mandela himself? Nelson Mandela was a political activist and South African president from 1994 to 1999. However, before becoming president, he served a total of 27 years in prison from 1962 to 1990. Eventually, he died in 2013. Here's where the story starts. Many people recall him dying in prison in the 80s or early 90s. They recall it being all over the news, magazines, and even a grand funeral being televised. Now, how a massive confusion like this can happen, I have no idea. There's even theories suggesting that he did die and was replaced by Gibson Makanda, and trying to find anything on this guy is impossible, considering he probably never existed. He was just a man given plastic surgery and trained to talk like Mandela in order to prevent South African riots. This goes deeper than you could ever imagine, or at least crazier. I do find it interesting that a lot of people did believe that he died earlier than he did, so maybe he did, maybe he did die. Maybe this does prove the existence of alternate realities. Up next, we got Pikachu. For this tier list, I tried not to have the most basic Mandela effects that we've heard of a million times that have been talked to death, but this one I find interesting, so that's why I'm talking about it. Lots of people think that Pikachu had a black end on his tail, but he never did. Aesthetically, it does look like he should have one, so that's one thing. Another thing I find interesting is that when I was a kid, I remember drawing a picture of Pikachu, or at least something similar, and sure enough, it did have a tail with a stripe. Now I can't prove this because I don't have the picture, but here's kind of what it looked like.
Oh my god, bro.
What the hell, man? What the fuck?
I was honestly pretty shook when I found out that he doesn't have a black stripe. It just looks so much better with it, so that made me a little angry. And given that I did draw a picture with a stripe, I'll put it under might. Next we got the Berenstain Bears. This does go against what I said earlier, but it is interesting, even though it's basic. As we all know, people thought it was called the Berenstain Bears, but it was actually called the Berenstain Bears. I was one of those people. I specifically remember being in elementary school having teachers, students, and librarians calling them the Berenstain Bears. I mean, I never actually read the books because I don't care about them. Does this prove the existence of alternate realities though? Possibly, who knows? What do you remember? Let me know in the comments. Up next, we got the JFK assassination. John F. Kennedy was the 35th president of the United States. There's tons of conspiracy surrounding his death, but we're not going to be talking about that today. Today we're going to be talking about who was in the car with him during his assassination. For sure him, the driver, and his wife Jackie, and maybe another person in the passenger seat. I mean, it was a four-door Lincoln, so it makes sense. Now, if this is what you think, then you'd be wrong. Look at the two other people awkwardly placed in the middle. Visually, this doesn't even look right. I remember back in the day when the assassination video was on YouTube, and I don't remember the car with those two other people. This could easily come down to misremembering, but at the end of the day, it just looks weird. Like, why should there be two people in the middle of this four-door Lincoln? This one, however, probably does not prove the existence of alternate realities. It's more so people just not paying attention. Britney Spears. Growing up in the 2000s was something that can't really be explained. It's a you had to be there kind of thing. And anyone who was knows that Britney Spears was huge. So it's natural that someone of her stature would have people cosplaying her looks. One of which was the outfit that she wore during her Oops, I Did It Again music video. Now here's a Mandela effect. It was believed that she wore a headset in the music video. But as you can see, she never did. Even cosplayers who are arguably the biggest types of fans made this mistake. But to go even further, a Barbie doll version of her in this outfit had the headset. However, I give this a pass considering that Britney was seen with headsets a lot. They probably just threw it in there just because. For research purposes, I watched the video and determined that the outfit would definitely look more complete with the headset. It would also make sense considering that there are parts of the song where her voice sounds like a robot. I think this comes down to people's cosplay copying the toy rather than the music video. I feel like this one leans closer to proving that alternate realities do not exist, so I'll put it in the bottom tier. Up next, we got Fruit of the Loom. For this tier list, I tried not to have the most basic Mandela effects that we've heard of a million times that have been talked to death. Just forget what I said earlier. Fruit of the Loom is a clothing company. You've probably seen this iconic picture of fruit at times. Even now, I have a memory of drawing it as a kid. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the drawing, which would have been concrete evidence of alternate realities, assuming the drawing had a cornucopia. This one obsessed me more than anything because it just looks too perfect with the cornucopia in the back. Aside from that, not much makes this Mandela effect hold up. It just really looks aesthetically pleasing. It's unfortunate that it's just not true. It makes sense that it would be there though. I mean, this is fruit, so why wouldn't it be there? I'm pretty sure that drawing I had did prove alternate realities because I'm almost certain that I did draw the cornucopia. So I'm tied between might exist and probably did not exist. I will go with probably don't though. This video is going to make me sound like a crazy person. Here we go. This next one is probably the newest one on here, and also probably the least known. Piano Cat. You know, we all love adorable cat videos from time to time, who doesn't? And a couple of years ago, there was a TikTok video that surfaced of a cat attempting to get off a piano, as it scares itself with every step it takes on the keys. Try to remember this video in your head if you can. You probably can to an extent. Do you remember anything obscuring the view of the piano? Because sure enough, there was. And this isn't some tiny thing, it's a giant red box that sticks out like a sore thumb. Even some commenters are shook by this. This is basically the issue that people had with these Mandela effects, something that just doesn't look like it belongs. Personally, I do not remember the red box being there. You would expect to remember something that sticks out so much, but I don't. I'll put this under might once again. I also believe this was the most interesting Mandela effect on here, so let me know what you guys think. Do you remember the red box? Up last, we got the Boots popsicle. I'm sure we're all familiar with those popsicles of animated characters. The packaging makes it look all nice, then you open it and it's a total nightmare. Many characters were created into ice cream, even Dora, but never Boots. It's another one of those things that just looks too perfect not to be real. I say the only thing that makes this Mandela effect interesting is that I told my friend about it and he was shook. Then he told his friend about it and he was shook. I personally wouldn't know because I didn't really care for these ice creams except for the gum that they included. But I don't recall the Boots. Although, since two people do remember Boots, I'll put this under might once again. As you can see, we did not prove the existence of alternate realities. Such a shame. Alright guys, there you have it, the Mandela effects tier list. I'm sure we all learned the same amount of nothing by watching this video. I just needed content and there it is. I haven't uploaded in a while, but oh well. Hopefully I can go back to delivering more content, but until then, I guess we'll just have to settle for this for now. God, the sun has been blasting me in the face this whole video. Peace.